What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality podcast. I'm your host. I'm Caitlin Kenneth Smith, and coming off of being sick, obviously, but today we have another episode of the Powerhouse Roundtable, and this is by far my favorite type of podcast to record because I'm not talking to myself, and I have three people in the room who have a lot of expertise to add to the conversation. And today we actually have a specific topic that we're going to go off of, and of course, we'll probably venture off, but supplements are a huge piece of health and fitness. Like, I don't know about you guys, but every time like I get a new client, one of the first questions that they ask me is like, "Hey, what supplements should I take?" When it's like, "Okay, let's focus on your nutrition and your fitness first." But people are going to spend money on supplements. The supplement industry is one of the biggest industries in health and fitness. Like, I think I looked up a statistics the other day and it was $60 billion projected in the United States alone for 2025. So people are spending money on supplements, and we want to give you guys the right advice and right tools that you could potentially use so you're investing it in the right place. So today we're going to go around and we're going to talk about 4 to 5 supplements that we believe are actually worth your money in 2025. And once we go around, we'll kind of break it down because I know that a lot of us are going to have very similar supplements and we want to make sure we're not overwhelming people. But this is going to be a good episode. And I've already spoken enough so far. So let's start with Dara because you're the first person I looked at because you just look so damn good today, girl. Everybody else looks good too. I look like shit, but that's fine. Dara, the reason actually I probably picked you first is because when I think of supplements, I always think of Dara because she works at a supplement store, but also she has just so much knowledge about it that like if I have to get a recommendation, I always go to you guys. So Dara, what are your 4 to 5 supplements?
So when I think of supplements, I think of things that are hard to get, obviously, from Whole Foods, that can
Mhm.
provide energy, support in aging. I'll bring up my age again. I'm 43, so I'm always thinking about what are the best supplements that help me, and then the people around me that can benefit from that, maybe being in that bracket. So I would say creatine
Mhm.
is pretty much all the way up there. Big advocate of creatine. Magnesium. Do you want me to just like name off my
Yeah.
5?
Yeah, go ahead, rip it off, and then we'll go around and we'll come back.
Okay, I won't go into them. Um, so magnesium, creatine, a I would say omegas, omega-3 fatty acids, and I'm going to say D3K2 together, just because they work very well together, and we could talk about that.
Mhm.
And last thing for me would probably be like CoQ10. Um, so those are my
Interesting.
5.
I like those because I think that especially the last two are very different, I think, than from what a lot of us are going to have. Brooke, what do you have?
Okay, mine are basically the same. I do have one different one. So
Ooh.
mine is magnesium. I recommend that. I've been taking that for over 10 years. That's my favorite. Then probably a fish oil, omega-3. Creatine I had on my list, and then vitamin D I did have as well. I don't know. It was a toss up between vitamin D and C. I went with D because we're in the winter months. And then recently, Dara, I've been telling all my clients now you got to get it with the K too. 'Cause- yeah. And then I'm gonna throw this one out there, like a mushroom blend. That has been honestly on my postpartum journey, like game changer for my anxiety and mood this time. So
Interesting.
throw that out
You
there.
know, as I was like going down the rabbit hole researching supplement trends and stuff, um, mushroom coffee or enhanced coffee is
Mhm.
like one of the most trending things right now.
It is, and I started it. It's a little over a year ago when I was more like really focusing on my hormones before I got pregnant again. But it made a huge difference then, and I started it um postpartum, and also I think the reason why I did it originally was because I did it for the flush and I replaced my coffee
Mm.
mushroom blend.
I remember that. And then apparently it's stuck.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sam, what do you have?
So CoQ10 was actually like at the top of the list for me. I don't know. That's the one that I've always seen the most difference with. for
Mm.
whatever reason. So I'm a big advocate for CoQ10. After that, again, like the omega-3s, they're fucking good for you.
Yeah.
Vitamin D is always another one that like pretty much everybody should be taking or has to be taking, like something that they need, right? Um, and I'm gonna say like all encompassing, like greens, something that has like gut health in it, but also the
Mhm.
greens because, gut health is like not a sexy thing, but it makes a big difference. And that's again, nobody thinks to start with whole foods. So if they're gonna jump to a supplements, jump to something that will affect your overall health, which would be like start with your gut.
Yeah.
Creatine is one like I'm an advocate for. It is not something that I take regularly just because I'm bad about water intake. I'm decent at water intake. Something happens when I take creatine that I just stop. And then I feel like shit, and then it doesn't work right, and then I get upset, so I just stop taking it. And that's a personal problem. I am a huge advocate for creatine, but make sure that you're taking it correctly and drinking the water to sustain that. This is a personal problem
It's
with
not you creatine,
creatine.
it's me.
It's me. It's my fault. I am an advocate for creatine. This is a personal issue.
I love the honesty. I love that. I like these so far. These are good. So I have a controversial one, and I know all of you are going to disagree with me. So I'm happy to bring it up. Now, number one, well, I have absolutely no order to this. This is just how I wrote it out. A multivitamin. Reasoning for that, just brief, is our soil is not as vitamin rich as it used to be. The fruits and the vegetables that we're eating are not as vitamin rich as they used to be. And frankly, people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. So let's like set a good foundation here. Creatine, omega-3s, and then vitamin D and magnesium, it was like a toss up between. So I ended up going with vitamin D just because looking at research, it seems like that one impacts people more. But again, if you're deficient in magnesium, magnesium will be more of a game changer than vitamin D. So it kind of just depends on the individual there. And then the final one is a whey protein. And the reason why I said a whey protein is because people just don't eat enough fucking protein. No matter how much you beg to them and tell them what's in Whole Foods and what's good for them and why they need it, people just struggle to do it because we live in a crazy world and people just don't want to eat whole food sources of protein. So if you can get your hands on a good high quality whey protein and you can utilize that, then you're at least hitting your protein goal, and that's better than not hitting your protein goal. Obviously, it's like a good, better, best scenario and we can build up to things, but I think somebody just starting off, whey protein is probably going to be really helpful for them. But the first thing that I want to address is creatine, because obviously that was one that we all brought up, and it seemed like it was one that we were very strongly bringing up, except for Sam, who has personal problems with creatine. But again, she is an advocate for creatine, regardless of the personal problems. So, Dara, I know that you're a huge creatine person. So I would love to hear kind of what led you to put that on your list, because I know that it's probably for you number one.
Yeah, just because there's a lot of benefits of creatine, but one of the biggest ones for me or my clientele or just in general is like the ability to like retain the muscle that we have in our body. And as we age, unfortunately, our hormones start changing, and we can't get those big hits that we need to build muscle. So creatine kind of can play that role for us and step in and help us with um, the strength, the building, the recovery of it, and just like that energy that we get. We're fatigued, we're tired, we don't want to do things. So it's going to help at a cellular level with energy. And there's so much new research with cognitive benefits as you age and your brain's starting to face declines and everything. And it's just kind of, it just, I don't understand why, like, I think it's just because, like, how it's been given a bad rap for so many years that women, and I'm talking women in general, like, they're afraid to take it because they think they're going to get too big or something. Um, but it just sits in there nicely to support what you're trying to do in a health journey.
Mm-hmm. And I would agree with that. I think that the marketing has been plagued in the sense where women are afraid to take it because one, they're afraid to get big and bulky. But number two, I think one of the biggest things is it's been marketed like, oh, creatine leads to water retention, which it does. It helps to retain more fluid in the muscle, which is intermuscular fluid. It's very different from like you're bloated and retaining water from your period, which is what most females like associated with. They think bloat, they think water retention, they think uncomfortable, I feel fat, I don't like how I feel. So they associate creatine with that feeling and they think, I don't want to deal with that, so I'll just go without it. When in all reality, creatine can make you leaner because of the intramuscular fluid that you're holding on to. It's very different.
Yeah. And I am actually kind of excited about, you know, people like us talking about it, other people in the space talking about it, because I do have a lot of customers that come in, women in their 40s, looking for creatine and asking questions and really just kind of being excited, like, oh, that's what I've been hearing. And like that excites me. That excites me that that's becoming more of a normal thing. Obviously there's a lot of, you know, skeptics out there, even men, that are just like, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's just all around great.
Mm-hmm. It's actually the most researched supplement, I think, after caffeine, which you could argue that's not a supplement, it's a drug, but it's delicious nonetheless, and it helps us all. But Brooke, Sam, do you guys have anything to add on creatine that you've maybe experienced yourself, or any research that you've come across, or anything that we haven't mentioned about it?
I mean, I definitely like personally, I do notice, I feel like my physique's better when I take it. I do notice strength is up when I take it, especially when I'm in a calorie deficit. And that's
Mm.
the question I would say I get from clients. They're like, do I need to take creatine when I'm trying to cut down? And I would say, like, yes, definitely take it at that time. But I do think creatine has come a long way also. Like when I first tried it,
Yeah.
maybe 8 years ago, I do think it did make me bloated.
Mhm.
I think it's come a long way. I think all supplements have really come a long way, all, companies. But I think it does matter like what kind you get. Like I think we all agree we want to get a monohydrate.
Mhm.
I personally use one that's more like a pH balancing one, and I really like that for me. So
Mhm.
I think it just kind of depends on the person too. So, but also like what Sam referred to, like, yes, you got to make sure you're drinking plenty of water and things like that too, for sure.
Because there is a very small percentage of the population, and Sam, you might fall under this category, where creatine does cause like GI upset, regardless of the kind of creatine that you use. And in that case, it's like, well, just get your creatine through whole food, which it's very difficult to get enough creatine through whole food. But you can definitely eat a fuck ton of red meat.
And I do. I eat a lot of red meat. But again, I couldn't tell you what it is. It's just like something in my brain that like says like don't drink water. And I can't like,
The
and I'm
best
not like
health advice.
purposely like not drinking water for fun. It's just like I literally forget to go through my water when I take creatine. And it's like, I'm not sick or what. It's just like the creatine is not doing its job because I am not
Yeah.
taking it correctly. So I'm not going to
Mhm.
waste the money, which is another huge part of that. Like if you're not going to take it correctly, don't waste your money on it. Make sure
Absolutely agree
you
with
are
that.
doing the necessary steps. Like don't just go out and buy creatine and think that that's going to be magic because it's not.
Mhm.
That is the reason I don't take creatine because I know myself enough after 8 years for whatever reason, I cannot take creatine properly. And like, again, I go through stints of like a month or 6 weeks. I think the last time I texted you, Caitlin, and I said that I had gotten stronger and whatever. It was a shit show Saturday, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sure.
and I don't know if I hit a PR or I had done really well on that specific shit show Saturday. And I told you, like, I was in a deep deficit at that point, but I was so fucking strong because I was taking my creatine and taking it correctly. So,
Ah, there
yeah.
you go.
When I
Just
take it correctly, it's great. So
see,
don't
guys,
waste the money if
see,
you're not going to do it.
it just comes down to taking it correctly and
Yeah.
doing and taking it consistently too, right? Because like you said, if you can't take it consistently, then what the fuck's the point of doing it? And a lot of people do struggle with consistency with supplements, but with creatine, I think specifically because it's like, when do I take it? What do I take it with? Like, a lot of companies too, Legion being one of them. I think the first one, and I saw Organifi actually just came out with it, was gummy creatine, which I think is phenomenal because I mean, people fucking love to eat gummies. So like, if you're gonna struggle to take powdered creatine, then guess what? You can be a child and you can take your gummy creatine. And you know, we're not sponsored by Legion, unfortunately, although Sam works with them. But we'll put the gummy creatine link for Sam in the thing below. So if you want some gummy creatine, you can support Sam. We can get that going.
I
But
won't,
okay,
I am a personal fan of the powdered over the gummies. Like the gummies are fun,
they are fun.
but I prefer I drink more water if it's powdered.
It all comes back to the water thing. So yeah, there you go. It depends on what you struggle with, right? If you struggle to take the powder consistently, gummies might be a better option. If you struggle to drink water, drink the powdered because then you'll drink more water. Cool. Now, as far as omega-3s go, because I think that was another one that all of us had in our list. And I mean, I've been a huge advocate of omega-3s ever since I started taking them because it's the biggest thing that's going to help to reduce inflammation. And unfortunately, the American diet has a lot more omega-6s than omega-3s, and we need to balance that out. But there is so much other benefits that omega-3 comes with when it comes to like cognitive health, when it comes to blood sugar control and all of these different things. Brooke, what was the reason why you put omega-3s on your list?
So basically, like you said, a lot of people don't eat nearly enough foods that contain the omega-3s. You know, a lot of people don't eat nearly any fish per week.
Never me. Never me.
Yeah, I eat fish unless I'm doing the flush. So,
Yes.
and then like you said, also like a lot of our foods are high in the omega-6s, and we want a good balance there. So I personally, I'm not going to get it through Whole Foods, so that's why I supplement with it, and that's why I recommend a lot of people. I do think it makes a big difference with inflammation for sure.
Mhm.
Also,
I absolutely feel that it makes a difference, like personally for myself. Like if I'm using it, I feel like I recover faster from my workouts. I feel like
yeah,
all of my like little nagging injuries are like less inflamed.
yeah,
Good,
definitely.
good. Cool. Dara, Sam, anything to add on omega-3s?
I would say like, well, women in general, it just helps with like hormone balancing.
Mm-hmm.
So it could just help with like um, PMS or menopause symptoms and stuff like that. So it's just another good one for women
I
in
think the
general.
PMS pack would include omega-3s and
Yes.
magnesium
Yeah, absolutely.
and maybe some
And
greens in there too.
yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of like cognitive benefits, heart benefits, inflammation, as you guys spoke on, and
Hmm.
just there's just so many things that we're eating that are just kind of really messing with that ratio, like Brooke was talking about, that we really can combat that with making sure we take that supplement to kind of help us out.
Hmm.
So
And what I want people to understand that like omega-6s aren't bad. We need omega-6s, but we get way too much compared to omega-3s. And we need to have like a balance of inflammation because without inflammation, our bodies wouldn't operate properly, like zero inflammation, right? We wouldn't have like a recovery process, things like that. We wouldn't be applying stress in order to get stronger. However, too much inflammation obviously leads to chronic illness, leads to issues, leads to pain. And a lot of people's issues could probably be solved if they had less inflammation, whether it be, hey, now you're sleeping better, you're taking omega-3s, you're drinking enough water, doing all those things that could help. Cool. Next one that I was actually interested in is, so a couple of us mentioned vitamin D. So Dara, why vitamin D and K or K2? Is that what it was?
yeah, K2. So, um, well, D, when your D level's low, you could, get sick easily. Your immune system's becomes, in jeopardy of little things that you kind of introduce here and there. So like really having that level higher is going to put you in a better position to take on all the things that you get placed with, like your kids coming home from school and bringing all the goodies home with you or just people you meet at the grocery store or whatever. So it just kind of helps protect you in general. But the K2, what it does is it just helps direct the calcium to the bones instead of the arteries. So it kind of just works together to make sure that that's being directed to the right place. And because D also helps with like bone health, like bone support. So yeah, so them working together is just usually they come together. A lot of supplements they sell them together just because of the benefits overall.
Yeah, so you can get more bang for your buck if you do it like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
For sure.
Sam, vitamin D, why'd you put it on the list?
Like Dara said, mostly for immune health. Again, because I have kids and
Yes.
it's really easy to get sick. But also like, this is the first time we've had sunshine in like 2 weeks.
That's
like
something people overlook.
I live in the middle of nowhere and it's cold and it's dark and like we don't get a lot of like even today the sun is out, but it's not going to be out for very long and it's usually covered with a little bit of clouds. So I don't get that sunlight and it makes me, seasonal depression is real. Have you seen that reel that says, people think that it's fake until the sun hits you mid-February and you feel like you've taken a tab of ecstasy? Like that's what it is.
Oh, real.
Like I miss sunshine and I miss like warmth because right now when the sun shines, when there's this much snow on the ground, all it does is blind you.
Yes.
So like that for me, like that's why vitamin D is so big for me. It helps with that missing the sunshine effect, but it also keeps you healthy. So
and I think it's so like people overlook it so much, how sunlight really impacts your mood and how vitamin D is why that is. Because like, I mean, I know I'm one of those people who definitely deals with seasonal affective disorder. I mean, I fucking live in Florida and I still deal with it. Like, it's less so than when I lived in New York, but it's still there. And I think that so many people who struggle with that don't realize that they could probably fix the problem by supplementing with vitamin D. And when you have a vitamin D deficiency and you supplement with it and you get rid of that deficiency, it's literally life-changing. Similar to magnesium. If you're deficient in magnesium and you take magnesium and you get rid of that deficiency, it's literally life-changing to that individual, which goes into magnesium. And Brooke, I know that you put magnesium on your list and you were like, I've been taking it for 10 years. Like, that's a long time. Tell me why you put it on your list and why you think it's such a valuable thing.
So I don't even remember why I first started taking it, honestly. Someone probably told me to take it and I was just like, okay, I'll take it.
Why not? Yeah.
I mean, now though I look at like the different kinds and like, you look at quality and stuff too.
Oh yeah.
And like the form it comes in. But personally, I take it mostly for sleeping, better sleep, better recovery. I do notice it helps with my PMS symptoms as well, like less bloating in the morning. And just at night, I will say like it helps a lot just calm my mind and calm my body down. Like if you like say you have like restless leg syndrome or something like that, it helps a ton with that. I give Gianna magnesium. For some reason, like my mind, I'm sure your mind races like when you're trying to go to sleep, so it definitely helps my anxiety at night. And then, yeah, there's a lot of studies, articles out there about it helping with hormone health too. So
I think that's the most valuable part of magnesium is to take before bed, because I think so many people have sleep issues and a lot of it, I would argue all of it is probably related to some form of stress. And magnesium can help to reduce not just physical stress, but also mental stress. Like it can help relax the mind. It can help relax the muscles. And I had a client once who had restless leg syndrome to the point where like she wasn't sleeping very well at all. And she started taking magnesium and it was a game changer for her. Like her sleep improved, which meant everything improved. So I think like magnesium can be a really good catalyst because of how it positively impacts stress and sleep. And those two things alone, I think, probably hold so many people back. So let me think. Sam had another one that kind of stood out to me. Greens, right? That was one actually that I almost put on my list instead of vitamin D. When I was thinking of like my final thing, it was either vitamin D, magnesium, or probiotics, which would be in a green. Why did you end up going with greens as something that you would recommend or being one of your top five?
Um, Again, this is a personal issue for me. I love magnesium. I'm an advocate for magnesium. However, every single kind, and I'm not talking like one or two, every single kind of powdered magnesium I've ever had has caused issues with my stomach, which is common for a
Sam,
lot of people.
I am the same. I used to take First Form's powdered magnesium, and every morning I would wake up and be like, I hate my life.
So I do take every now and then, I have some, they're magnesium pills that are specifically for sleep. And those are a game changer for sure. Because like you said, like when I lay down at night, like I can't sleep because I'm thinking like of all of the things that need to be done. If I
Hmm.
take one or two of those tablets, I'm out within 30 minutes and I sleep like a fucking rock. So they work. And just like as a side note, magnesium, when it was first starting to get like really big, I got it from my dad because he would wake up in the middle of the night and he would get these Charlie horses where
Hmm.
he thought that he was dying. So I forced him to get some like rub-on magnesium. It's called Deep Blue, I want to say. I don't know.
Hmm.
And then a little like rollerball tube. Changed his life. He won't admit that, but he stopped having the Charlie horses. So I'm gonna call that a win. So
Charlie
the
horses
reason,
are insane when you get them bad too, especially when you
yeah,
wake up in the middle of the night and it's like, oh, that's
yeah.
terrible.
Um, so the reason that I did greens instead of magnesium was just because, again, not everyone is going to be able to handle magnesium in the same way. So there's just like that little caveat to that. But greens for me, again, like so many people with all the food that we eat and all the junk that we have and all the processed shit, if you're not thinking about it again, you don't realize that you feel like shit until you feel good.
Hmm.
And that's what happened when I tried greens. Like that first week again was awful because it just like I felt like shit continuously. But now I have to take this like nasty green powder. Um, but once your body gets used to that and your gut starts to heal and you don't have the stomach issues and you don't feel groggy and you don't like crave garbage food in the middle of the day because your blood sugar is regulating. Like there's all these little nuances that you don't realize are happening until you take care of them.
Hmm.
And for me, like greens would help 90 some percent of the population if they would just take it consistently and
Yeah.
focus on their gut health.
Hmm. I truly do agree with that because I've had a similar experience where like I've been taking First Forms greens for like 6 years, and the reason for that is because I feel so much better when I'm taking them. Like my digestion just feels good. I feel like I'm absorbing my food better, so I'm having better energy. I'm recovering better. I'm sleeping better. And my stress is a little bit lower just because I'm able to actually recover from what I'm doing. And I think that so many people have gut issues, but don't admit they have gut issues or don't accept it because everybody has something. It's totally normal to be bloated sometimes. It's normal to have diarrhea all the time. It's not normal to have these things, by the way, if you are one of those people. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal, but because it's so common, people think, oh, it's fine. Like, this is just how it is, right? And unfortunately, the American diet reflects on shitty gut health. Not a lot of people are sitting down and having some probiotic rich foods like sauerkraut and Greek yogurt and kimchi. So, adding that in, I can definitely see that being extremely helpful for people because at the end of the day, I don't care how healthy you are eating, how much protein you are eating. If you're not properly absorbing and using the protein and the carbs and the fats, you're not going to get the most benefits from it.
You're leaving
I like
gains on
that.
the table.
That's what it's all about. You know, supplements are like not the end all be all. They're not like you have to take these things, but they can fucking make a huge difference. You know, they fill the gaps.
Yeah, I want to touch on that actually. What you said,
Mm.
like eating a lot of food. I had a client one time, he was a hard gainer, trying to put on a lot of muscle. And he just like, his metabolism was crazy. I had him at like 4,000 calories. It was nuts. He started taking greens and like started actually seeing some better progress because I think, like you said, it was helping him absorb the nutrients, actually utilize the protein he was eating and all that stuff. Because it sucks when you're doing all the things, you're meal prepping, eating all the food, hitting your macros, and then you're still not seeing the progress. So,
And it's hard to eat that much food. Like it really is. Like I'm at a point right now where I've just recently started with a new nutrition coach and she's having me like slowly stair step up my calories so I can stop injuring myself and start recovering better and like reduce the amount of stress that I'm under. And right now I'm at like 3,000 to 3,200 and my weight on the scale is just like chilling. And it's like, okay, so I take greens and I'm still dealing with these problems. But for so many people who don't take greens or don't care about their health, like think about how much better you could fucking feel. I think that's really what it comes down to is like what Sam said. You don't know how bad you feel until you feel good. And then you're like, wow, I settled for feeling so bad for so long when I could have just made this one or two little minor adjustments to my lifestyle and it made a huge impact. I like that one. Brooke, I know you had a very interesting one with the mushrooms. So let's definitely talk about that because personally, that is something I've never explored, but I see it everywhere.
it definitely is very trendy right now. There's a lot of like companies that have the mushroom blends, CBD blends. So like I said, I started just using, I think I started with that Rise that mushroom blend.
Yeah, like the one with the Y, not the I. So it's RYSE. Yeah, I've seen that one. I can like visualize it.
It kind of depends flavor wise what you're going for. I like Daily Dose. That's closest to coffee. Rise is a little earthy still. Everyone's, a little different with your flavor preferences. But so again, I took it to just replace my coffee while I was doing this like cleanse. And then I was like, wow, I feel really good. Like whenever I drink it, I try to drink it still before I have my first cup of coffee because it does help me keep my caffeine intake in check throughout the day. Like it gets a little crazy sometimes. So
I mean, you are a mom of two, so totally understandable.
Yeah, and Lily doesn't sleep. But anyway, so there's so many cognitive benefits to it. Honestly, I haven't done too much research on like the specific different mushrooms. Like there's so many different ones out there. They do serve different purposes, and then some of them like cross over on the benefits. But cognitive benefits, it's really good for your immune health too. Like feel like Brian, my husband, has noticed a difference with that. But personally, again, just like better energy. Biggest thing is my mood. I feel like it helps my mood so much. Like I'm sure we all do too, but like so overstimulated. And I feel like I can, obviously I have practices in place too, but I just feel like I can manage my mood and emotions a little better. And then same with like anxiety, like I don't know, it helps a ton, but that could also be because I'm drinking less caffeine. So
yeah, but if that's the thing that's helping you drink less caffeine, then hey, then it's doing what it's supposed to do, right?
And also some gut benefits too, I would say for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Dara, Sam, have you guys ever tried anything like this or experienced anything or know anybody?
So I've been drinking this coffee, literally tastes just like coffee. It has lion's mane and reishi mushrooms in it.
Okay.
It's from
I've heard
a
you talk
company.
about this before.
Yeah. I've probably been drinking it for like 3 years. It's from a company called Four Sigmatic. And so it's like organic, it's very clean how there's, no mold or pesticides or anything in it, which is a big deal with coffees and teas and stuff like that. But for me, it's like the amount of caffeine per serving is like half, if that, from regular coffee. And it tastes, to be honest, like it tastes like regular coffee. It has this like rich, dark chocolate kind of vibe to it. And I drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day. And it really doesn't put me on like any highs and lows, which I love about it. And it just kind of gives me that like focused feeling. And then and that's from, I believe, the lion's mane. And then the reishi is more like an antioxidant. So just overall benefits. So
nice. Yeah. Sam, have you?
Yeah, I tried the Rise and then I tried mud water, which is very similar. To me, they were both awful. I couldn't stand it. They were nasty. Couldn't
Mud
drink it.
water is disgusting. Mud water.
I mean, it sounds disgusting. Why would we buy this?
It
It was a gift. Somebody bought it for me, and I was
Okay.
like, "Oh, I'll try." Because I
Question their
like
friendship.
benefits.
Question their friendship, Sam.
I liked the benefits, but it was awful. So I was like, let me try and find something else. So then I got Rise, and that was not good. That was a little bit better, but it was not good. I couldn't drink it.
So I think I love this because it's funny how it's like Brooke's like, I love Rise, and then Sam's like, Rise sucks.
I mean, if I could maybe add something else to it, but I didn't know what would make that taste any better, but it was not happening.
It's the importance of individual preferences, right? Like Brooke loves it, Sam don't.
Yeah.
So the Rise, no, I don't love the Rise. It's the daily dose. The daily
Okay, difference.
Rise, a little earthy for sure.
It's a little bit like dirt.
Yeah.
It's like what somebody tells me, like, these greens taste like dirt. And I'm like, they're fucking greens. What do you want from them? Like,
Well, again, like I can't be mad at it. Like, what did I expect? Like, it's not gonna be coffee. But I did, however, try it's called Breeze, Brez, and it's not like coffee or anything, but it's like a drink, and it has the lion's mane, and it's got the, I think, reishi, I think, in it,
Yeah.
whatever it was. What?
It's got are those the THC drinks?
So they, sorry, that sounded mean. That was not that was too aggressive of a what, but I saw you do this, and I was like, what? What were you gonna say before I finished? Sorry, that was too aggressive. So yes, they have the THC drinks, but they also have ones that are non-THC that are just the functional ones. Again, I'm not against THC, but I like, it's not a personal thing for me. Like, it's not for me.
I hear you.
But I really like the other ones, the non-THC ones, just the ones with like the lion's mane. I had a few of those. And there's a huge difference in like my cognitive function when I drink those.
Interesting. I like hearing that. I think what it comes down to for you, Sam, is like if something's pretending to be coffee and it's fucking not coffee, you're not a fan. And I feel that because that would totally be me. I'd be like, this is not coffee. Stop pretending.
Like, I did tea for it was like a straight month that I did tea in the morning instead of coffee.
That's weird.
I know.
She's like if I were to like look up caffeine addiction in the dictionary, I would find a picture of Sam.
I know it's bad. And I've tried, but I was so proud of myself for having tea for a month straight. And then one morning it was just like, God, this sucks. And I want coffee. It's not the same.
It isn't. Are we at least not having like 3 energy drinks a day now?
Most days. Like yesterday I had a lot.
I just always have to go back to when we were in Arizona for Coaching Con, and it'd be like, Sam, how much caffeine did you have today? This is like my third energy drink.
That was just, the conference was great, but to sit in that room for 8 hours and not move, I needed something.
Sam was just like shaking in her seat at that point.
But it was so bad. But no, like, especially now because I'm traveling so often, like, I have one typically like on my drive so that by the time I get there, like, I'm ready to go. Okay. And then depending, because I hate having to stop on my way home because then like it's just another stop to get out of the car and I still have an hour to go. But like if there's one that like I can grab, like if we have any extra in inventory that I can pay for, like I'll grab one from the gym. Or like I'll bring my pre-workout with me in my gym bag. So I try to keep it in the morning and around my workout, and that's it.
See, we're getting better. No nightly energy drink. It gets cracked.
That was a mistake.
It always is.
I know. I had one at like 6 o'clock last night, thinking that I was going to go to the gym. And then when the kids went to sleep, or like they lay in their bed and they watch a show at 7:30, and I showered instead and forgot to call somebody to come over. And I was like, oh no. So I was up until like 11 o'clock just watching my shitty shows. But
love that. Well, on the topic of energy drinks, since it is technically a supplement, obviously we're all people who enjoy energy drinks. Now, do you need caffeine? Do you need pre-workouts? Do you need energy drinks? to see results? Absolutely not, but they are fun and they can give you a little bit of pep in your step. Sam, what's your go-to right now? Like, what is your number one right now, if you were to choose one? Do
I'm still a huge fan of the ghosts.
you have
I
a
like the
specific
way they
flavor?
taste. Cherry limeade is probably my most favorite. Like they're all good.
Yeah.
It came out with like I want to say it's like a black cherry something.
I can't
Not
find that one.
as good.
Ghost likes to come out with energy drinks and then be like, you can't buy them anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I'm like searching for my whole life.
Like that one is like very mild in flavor. It's not my favorite. However, at the gym we carry Jocko products,
Mhm.
which I had never had before, but their energy drinks, they're a little bit smaller, but they're only 95 milligrams of caffeine per can,
Oh, so you can
which
just
helps
like
a
down tons of
lot.
them.
Well, no, it helps a lot because what I do is I take my cup and I'll put 2 in there. So that's still, 200 milligrams of caffeine, close enough, but it's not, like the Ghost where I could have 4 of those in a day just to satisfy the taste, and they're 300 milligrams a piece. So
Only two.
if I can have 2 of the Joccos at 95 milligrams a piece, that's a win. And they taste good.
All right. All right. Yeah. Right now, my number one is Ghost Cherry Lime. Like 100%. Like I always am like, I'll do a different flavor. And then it's like, oops, I'm drinking the same one. Dara, what's your go-to right now? Do you have one? Because I know you love the energy drinks.
Well, I work in a supplement store,
Yeah,
so
you got them all.
I have just like all these to pick from every day. Sometimes I actually make it through a whole day without drinking one.
Wild.
Yeah, I'm like, just drink your water. But I'll put EAAs in my water to make it taste, better, so it feels like I'm drinking something fun.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I kind of just jump around. I do like the Ghost, the fish, Swedish fish.
Oh yeah,
Like
that one's good too.
that one's pretty good. I have new like Gorilla Mind ones. So there's like this black cherry one that's tastes like a cherry Coke, literally.
Do they sell there? I want to find that one so bad. Ever since
I don't know. We've been ordering it for so long that it just comes to our store.
I've heard really good things about Gorilla Minds from you, from Eric told me Gorilla Minds is like one of his favorites too, and Eric is like the caffeine energy drink addict as well, so I trust his opinion there.
Yeah. And then sometimes if I want to like feel something, obviously you feel something from those, but like beta alanine, right? Does anyone like beta alanine? So if you want to feel something while you're working, it's kind of cool. Drink a C4.
I used to drink those when I worked at the gym to literally feel something.
Yeah,
that's literally what
the only
I'm
reason
so
I
bored in my office. Oh, how can I spice this up? Beta alanine while I'm making phone calls. Let's go.
Yeah. Give me all the tingles.
Absolutely. Brooke, what do you got?
So funny you say that, because I was just thinking, I'm like, literally, like, since I'm at home most of the day, like some days I just leave my house to go to the gas station and I get an energy drink because I'm freaking bored. Like, and I want a treat that's like 10 calories. So
it's literally like my thought process too.
So
There's like a gas station right down the road, and I'm like, well, what could I do now? I could just drink water, or we can go light it up.
Grab one.
Yeah, do you have a go-to favorite flavor right now? Or brand flavor?
Ghost is probably my favorite. I love the pink lemonade one. That one. I liked the margarita one they had, but I can't find that one anymore.
I never even saw that one.
It was so good.
Oh, it was so good. Like strawberry.
Oh, wait, they came back with that one, yo. They came back with it.
Like a mango strawberry margarita.
Yeah.
Mango. It's a Walmart exclusive. I've been searching and I cannot fucking find it. But it's around, according to Ghost. It's somewhere. Check your Walmart.
So other one that's really good right now is that strawberry sunrise from Alani Nu. Theirs are hit or miss for me.
Did you know that Alani Nu just got bought by Celsius? Someone bought someone, whether it be did Celsius buy Alani Nu or did Alani Nu buy Celsius?
Alani Nu for $1.8 billion.
I'm sorry, but Celsius sucks.
I like Celsius. My problem with Celsius and Alani's is they're so small.
They are so small.
And
But
again,
I remember I
I
used
like
to.
the ghost because if I'm going to get an energy drink, if I'm going to treat myself, like that bitch better be big.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that.
That's what she said. But no, I feel like I used to drink Celsius back when I worked at gyms because that was one of the ones we carried. We carried that and we carried Bang. And I was like, if I shouldn't be drinking a Bang right now. I'm gonna die if I drink this.
Mhm.
So I would have a Celsius and I'd be like suffering through it because it tasted like medicine to me.
They taste like medicine. They're like Red Bull. It's so gross.
Oh, so gross. Yeah. If you can get anything to not taste like an energy drink, then I'm in, you know?
Yeah.
I honestly don't understand why people still drink Red Bulls.
Neither do I. Do they know that other ones exist? Like, what the fuck?
No, every
Those are
now and then,
disgusting.
and I don't know if it's like a nostalgia thing, but every now and then, like I get a craving for a Red Bull. Like it's
I think
free
of Red Bull
Bulls.
and I like if like somebody cracks a Red Bull open around me, I'm like, did somebody just get like gasoline spilled on their leg when they went to pump gas? Like,
So gross.
I'll tell you where
so
mine goes. I'm like Red Bull and vodka.
I know
What?
that a lot of people go there.
Yeah.
My 20s.
Yeah. Oh, this is really nostalgic. I don't like this.
I don't like this. I'm gonna throw up tomorrow.
Oh man. Yeah, so we got the energy drink thing out of our system because I feel like, supplement wise, it's a big trending topic and a lot of people like to know about it. But, there are good and bad ones. If you're still drinking Red Bull, Monster, like go home. Go find some good ones. Ghost, Gorilla Mines seem to be top here. But the last thing that I want to talk about, I think, no, somebody else had something that nobody else had. Who had CoQ10? Did Sam have that one? You both did, right? Let's talk about CoQ10 because most people don't know what the fuck CoQ10 is. Let's be real. Like, I know that it's in my microfactor pack and I know that it does have like brain benefit, but that's really all that I know about it. So for you guys to bring that up and put it on your list, I was like, oh, I did not expect this. So give me a little bit of background, whether Sam or Dara, whoever wants to pop in first. Why CoQ10?
I will go.
I will
so,
go.
So the biggest reason that I started really focusing on CoQ10 was just for overall mitochondria health, because it works as like one of the stations in the production of like your health of your mitochondria, so your energy levels and all of that. So I'm like, what is like, it kind of came to me when like the whole NAD thing was out there. So I started learning about that whole area a little bit more. And CoQ10 is actually one of like, I don't know if it's like a precursor or one of the hubs that works directly with it. That if you can get that, more or less, it declines as we age. Again, there's always a decline as we get older. So it's like, how can I get more energy through a supplement? That's kind of like my mind. And then like so a lot of it comes in food as well, but I'm trying to maximize or optimize more than just like if you went to the doctor and said this is okay kind of situation. I want it to be more. So that's why I started using it, and I started kind of advising people that might have symptoms of that, of just like low energy, and like there's heart benefits. I think and like it's an antioxidant, so oxidative stress benefits. So it's like, why not? So
is it is CoQ10 an antioxidant?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
And it helps, like you said, with stress, it helps kind of mitigate damage from free radicals. The first time I remember hearing about it, it was linked to help with your metabolism, because it plays such a role in converting food into energy and producing energy, because it's in almost every cell in your body. I don't notice all of those benefits, like, to be honest, like that's not something that like is at the top of my list. But for me, it's cognitive. Like whenever I take CoQ10 versus not, I have so much better cognitive function and I can focus more intently when I'm taking CoQ10. So it's not like at the top of the list of benefits, but it's the benefit that I see most.
Interesting. Cool. I like that. I mean, I take it. Just because I take microfactor and it's in there. So I guess I get the benefits of it too. Cool. Who else had a different one? I feel like did we cover all the different ones that everybody had? Did we cover everything?
What do you guys think about hitting on electrolytes since they're pretty trendy right now?
They are trending. Ooh, I
Yeah.
like this. Actually, I'm surprised Dara didn't put electrolytes on her list, to be honest. It was something that I did consider. I will admit it, but I think
I
like
wanted
with
to put-
everything else, it like kind of was. It's in my top like fucking 7. We'll say maybe
I
probably.
agree. Right. And
You guys, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I just wanted to say it was very hard to pick 5 for me.
Oh, I know it
honest.
was. I'm shocked Dara picked 5. I'm shocked she wasn't like, oh, but wait, I have a couple more.
I try to follow the rules, but really I have more.
So let's talk about electrolytes. I know, Dara, you've been taking Element T for a while because I know when I was your coach, it'd be like, I take my Element T every morning. Do you still take Element T after all the shit that went down with Element T?
I don't. Every once in a while because I still have some. I'm just not as consistent. I'll be completely transparent.
Brooke, do you know what happened with Element T? You look all confused. She's like, what happened? Sam doesn't know either.
I just ordered some more.
They were they got coined for having maltodextrin. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think.
But the thing, it's like, okay,
like
it tastes good, so it probably has like, it's such a minimal amount that it doesn't come up. However, they specifically lied about it once in an interview when they were asked about it. And
yeah, that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty. I've never done Element T because I'm a sensitive flower, and that much sodium at once destroys me, my stomach. So I do BPN electrolytes. They're by far my favorite electrolyte that I've ever tried. The first form ones I used to do them, but they have such a small amount of salt that I would add more salt to it.
Yeah.
I didn't like that about them either. So
yeah, I mean, I still have some that I'll use when I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so dehydrated. I need to really boost things up this morning. It's like I gotta do the thing. I know it works, kind of situation. But there is some other. Yeah.
You said what?
I lick salt in the morning.
There you go.
I was trying to save money, and then
yeah. Like I'm gonna lick it and I'm fine. Like I feel just as good.
I used to do that too. I used to just take like a dime-sized palm of like iodized salt and be like, salt lick, chase it down with some water. But now I've like learned, like I like to drink something a little bit tasty in the morning. So like I'm like, ooh, lemon lime electrolytes. They like tickle my palate, so I'm drinking water,
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of since I do work in a supplement shop, again, you guys know that, but like I get a lot of like essential amino acids that have electrolyte blends in them. So that helps me kind of hit that need. And another company that I liked was Redmond's salt.
Yeah, I use Redmond salt. I got them for Christmas from my mother-in-law, so I just have Redmond salt. She got me salt for Christmas.
That's awesome. That's like true love.
I know. Here, Caitlin, here's some hydration. But let's touch on why electrolytes are important, because so many people are like, wait, salt is good for you? Because some people are still living in the 90s where it's like, salt is bad, don't drink salt. That landed my mom in the hospital, not 1, but 2 times for sodium depletion, because she didn't learn the first time. And then the second time she finally learned, and I sent her Element T, and she's been taking Element T. Or she tells me she has. I don't know if she's lying. But electrolytes, sodium, magnesium, potassium, they have a crucial role in nervous system function, muscular system function too. But the thing that impacts people the most is the nervous system function. Like, people don't realize that, like, if you're fatigued, if you have headaches, if you're thirsty, despite how much water you're drinking, and you kind of just feel kind of shitty, it's probably electrolytes. The amount of times where when I would train clients in person and they would do some workout and they'd be like, oh my God, I need to sit down. I'm dizzy. I'm all these things. And I would give them like a Gatorade or something. And I go back in time and I'm like, I wish I gave them salt, because it probably wasn't blood sugar, because most people probably don't have blood sugar problems. It's a lot of sodium depletion. And I know, like, for me, when I'm training really hard in the garage, and especially if it's summer, if I start feeling kind of lethargic, I'm like, ooh, I need to go get some salt now. And I immediately feel better.
I'll go ahead and add on something. Even when like my clients when it's like their week, their time of the month, or even
Mhm.
before, they usually tell me, some of them are like, oh, I have really bad headaches. It's normal. I have headaches around this time. And I'm like, up your electrolytes. Like, let's actually add in more electrolytes with your water intake, because that's usually what's causing that headache. It's not just like you just get to have a headache whenever you go through your cycle. Like, that sounds miserable. So that's something for women in general. Like, your electrolyte need kind of increases in the time of your month. And another thing is, like, people just want to drink a lot of water, think, I got to get all this water in. But a lot of times, if you're not balancing your water, if you don't have enough electrolytes in your body, you're actually just flushing
Yep.
everything out. So you're not actually using that water. And that's just usually what I'll tell people, like, just drink some electrolytes in the morning, at least set the tone. If you're training really hard, like, past, I would say 90 minutes and you're just drenched in sweat, like, know that that's like literally electrolytes leaving your body. We need to replenish.
Yeah. I had this happen to me when I had an eating disorder. I would drink so much so much water, but I never, I was like, it was back when, bodybuilding was big, where it's like, oh, don't use Mrs. Dash, no sodium seasoning on everything, and don't use salt. And I like felt like crap one day, where I was like shaky. I was so anxious and I had no idea what was going on, let alone it was like an electrolyte imbalance. And again, the same thing happened to my mom, where one of the reasons why it happened the first time is because her doctor prescribed her a water pill and a blood pressure medication without advising her, like, hey, this is going to like flush everything out of your body. You should probably replenish electrolytes. In fact, he told her to limit her sodium. And then the next time she landed herself in the hospital was because she was focused on drinking water. That was like her new thing. She was so focused on it. And she was like, I drink like 80 ounces of water before I leave the house at 7. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Why? What? How? Like, Jesus Christ, what? And there she is. So, yeah, I was impressed too. I was like, are you sure? 80 ounces? That's a lot. Yeah, so don't do that. Make sure you're balancing it out with electrolytes so you don't feel like shit. And I would add that if you are somebody who eats all or majority whole foods, this is absolutely essential, because you're not getting the sodium that most people get from processed foods. Sodium isn't bad, it's where you're getting it from. Most people are getting it because they're eating a high caloric diet, and the processed foods come with a lot of sodium. It's not the salt. And if you are somebody who lives in a hot climate, if you sweat a lot, if you train hard, if you drink a lot of water, and if you are low carb, those things all require additional electrolytes. So just keep that in mind. So I think that that's such a good one that we haven't touched on, but I love that you brought it up, Brooke, because it is currently trending. Cool. Well, last one is what I said with whey protein. Now, I would like to hear your thoughts on this one. Whoever wants to jump on in.
I'll go real quick because I gotta hop off and get my kiddo. But
yeah, she's got to be an adult.
Yeah, but I do agree with what you said. A lot of people, especially when they're just getting started with their nutrition plan and increasing protein, like, it's hard for a lot of people. It's easy for us, obviously. We've been doing it forever, but I think it does have its place now when people kind of abuse it and they're drinking like 3 protein shakes a day to hit their protein. Like, no, let's not do that. But yeah, I think it serves a purpose, and I do think like definitely quality matters, especially if you have stomach issues, for sure. But I personally love it. I utilize it. A lot of my clients do too.
Yeah, I think that big things that you mentioned is how we use the tool, right? Because it's a tool. It can be abused. It's just like cardio. People are afraid to do cardio. They're afraid they're going to lose all their gains. On the other hand, they're like, no, cardio is the best way to lose weight. It's not. However, cardio is not, it's essential for health. And people think that like, oh, I can't do cardio because I don't want to lose my gains. No. You should do cardio. But again, it's a tool. You just don't abuse it. It's like Netflix. Netflix is cool, but way too many people abuse that tool. So like if you're utilizing whey protein, you have to be honest with yourself and ask like, is this just because I really want to just have multiple shakes a day and it's just easier? Or are you just being lazy at that point, you know? Sam, what do you think? Because I know that last time we had this conversation about whey protein and protein supplements and stuff, Sam was like, whole food. Like, and I agree. Whole food, just to note, is best in every scenario, except we would argue post-workout, like rate of digestion, but at the end of the day, it ain't that serious, right? Unless you're like a professional athlete and recovery is like your top priority.
Yeah, I don't disagree. When people are starting out, I think again, they gravitate towards supplements
Mm-hmm.
and like what's the easy way to do things. So I think if that's like your foot in the door to get somebody to have more protein, like that's acceptable as long as you make sure like, you know, and I know all of you guys have done this and I used to do this, like if we get to that point, like we're going to start looking at your nutrition log and we're going to start replacing one of those shakes with some whole food because
Yeah.
that's not something that we can rely on long term.
Mm-hmm. And I would think that like kind of what we spoke about last time, doing like the bars and the protein pop tarts and all of these marketing tools, like if it's something that satisfies your sweet tooth and you're doing it occasionally, it's fine. But if it's something that like every single day you're having a fucking protein pop tart midday because I mean, it's no longer being used as like a tool or a treat. It's now your diet. Like it's what you're doing consistently. So you just need to check yourself because you're probably going to feel a hell of a lot better if you don't do that.
And just because they say high fiber doesn't mean it's going to help you meet your fiber goal.
Correct. Because
that
like
kind of
the amount
fiber
of times,
is
woo,
so
shit.
garbage.
Who remembers? I mean, I know Quest bars still exist, but they ain't as big as they used to be because they were like industry blowing when they first came out because all protein bars before them tasted like garbage. And then Quest came out and it was like, whoa, this tastes good. And now it's like, whoa, Quest tastes like shit. But I used to eat Quest bars every day and I was like 9 months pregnant every day. And I was like, why am I so like, I'm getting my fiber. And it's like, yeah, you're getting all this shitty fiber from a Quest bar. They had like 18, 19 grams of fiber in that little bar. Like, so if you're somebody who eats Quest products and you're like, my stomach kind of hurts, that might be why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big advocate of, protein, whey protein, especially
Protein.
super bioavailable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about like, using it in the right places, not relying on it for everything. Obviously, if you're first starting,
Ivy made an appearance.
my puppy made an appearance. I think she has had enough of this.
She likes protein.
She likes protein. She really does. Yeah. So, anyways, I think it's great, and it would have been on my list if I had more options for sure.
All right. So I think we covered everything. And I think one of the biggest takeaways here is that for us, we had a lot of similar ones: creatine, omega-3s, vitamin D. And then all the other ones were kind of like, hey, this one might be more based on you. Like if you know you have a deficiency in magnesium, or if you know that you struggle to sleep or you have a lot of stress, that might be really good for you. If you have some tummy troubles, let's probably get a greens or a probiotic. If you struggle to hit your protein goal, let's get a high quality whey protein. So again, supplements are a tool that fill the gaps in your nutrition. And if it's the only thing you're doing to help your nutrition, it could help get the ball rolling, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make as big of a difference as you would like it to make. So is there anything else that you guys want to add before we hop off?
Yeah, I mean, since we're talking about supplements in general, just my biggest advice is what I tell customers that come in is like, let's just start with some foundational things to get you moving forward. And then like, kind of like you were just saying, like, and then when deficiencies or things arise that you want to work on a little bit deeper, let's look into how a supplement can help you as long as you're doing the work in all the other areas. And again,
Absolutely.
the coach can help you with that.
I think and I was listening to Mind Pump this morning and they were making this point. One of the absolute most valuable investments that you can make in yourself is investing in your health. And one of the most valuable investments in that is investing in working with a professional, whether it be in a group setting or a one-on-one setting. So if anything, invest in a coach before you start investing in all these supplements at the end of the day.
Yes. A guide.
Yes. Anything from you, Sam?
No, just kind of like Dara said, like start with foundation. You don't need to buy 30 supplements all at once. And like in the last 2 years, my supplements have cut down drastically just because I was taking things, not that weren't working or weren't helping, but you know, starting to replace them with more whole foods or, you know, things that I can do naturally to support that so I don't have to take 30 supplements a day. Like I said, those 5 supplements are the supplements that I take on a steady basis now, minus the creatine. But you know, you don't need a million different things.
Yeah. Good, good. I love all this, and I hope that everybody who listened to this found value. If you did, please share it. And if you have any ideas on what topics we should cover next as the Powerhouse Roundtable, go ahead and shoot it to my email, which is always down in the show notes below. And as always, I'll include everybody's information in the show notes, including Sam's code to Legion or link, so that you can get some creatine gummies if you like the gummies. But everybody, thank you for listening, and go out and do one thing today that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.